The SBA denies economic injury disaster loans to small businesses because of low or bad personal credit. Did this happen to you? Or maybe you just want to improve the odds of a typical bank loan? Or maybe a little bit better terms on a business vehicle lease? Follow these simple steps to fix your credit score in as little as 45 days. I know, it sucks. Even in a time of global pandemic and nationwide shutdown, those that have bad credit basically get screwed. I'm sorry to say it, but it's true. But don't worry, I've got you covered. While Congress is arguing over the HEROES Act and the HEALS Act and what, if any, from those bills will actually make it into the next stimulus package, now is the perfect time for you to get your credit repaired. What do you guys think? Should credit scores be a requirement for a pandemic stimulus package for businesses? Why don't you comment down below and let me know. Now, the very first step is for you to figure out exactly what your credit score is and where it needs to be improved. There are many different free resources on the internet. Now, personally, I like Credit Karma as it's very easy to use, and well, I guess I just kind of like it. Once you have logged in, you'll be able to see a breakdown showing your credit score and kind of what parts of your score need some work. Each of these sections will show up in green or red, which is right down here. And this will show you exactly what you should focus on the most. Even though I have a very good credit score, there's a few things that I could improve upon. By far, the most critical items are these in the very first row here at the top. And that is payment history, credit card usage, derogatory marks. And this is exactly what we should focus on first. Payment history for a perfect credit score, honestly, even for just a pretty good credit score, you must pay your bills on time. Even a single 30-day late on your payments can drop your score 50 or 100 points. And I'm not going to lie to you. If you are 30, 60, or even worse, 90 days past due on your bills, there's pretty much a zero chance that you're going to get approved for any loans today. But you still have a few options, which I will cover in a few minutes, so stick with me, okay? The next section here is credit card usage. Not only do the banks want to see that you can pay your bills on time, but they also want to know how well you manage the current credit that you have available. So they look at called a credit utilization numbers. Simply put, if you have a $10,000 credit card limit and you spend $5,000 of that money, you have a 50% utilization. Or said another way, you've spent 50% of your available credit. Looking at my utilization, I have a little over $250,000 in personal credit card lines available to me, and I'm currently using about 7% of that. Now, the quick goal for you is to keep this number under 30%. So in our example from a few minutes ago, with $10,000 of available credit, you should be using no more than $3,000. Now, ideally, if you want a perfect credit score of 800 or higher, you need to have less than 10% utilization. So why is this important? Well, the lender that you are applying to, which may be the SBA or it may be your local bank, they want to see how responsible you are with credit. If you are using 70 or 80% of your available credit, they know that you are living on the edge, and a bad month or two in your finances could make you default on your loans. Whereas when they see that you are only using a small percentage of your available credit, they know that you can kind of float for 3 or 4 months without any fear of being unable to pay them back. Okay, so that's great and all, but what should you do to improve this? Well, it's simple, but at the same time, it's going to take a little work on your part. You have 3 main options. Number 1, you could, of course, pay your credit cards down yourself and get them to at least 30% or lower, ideally 10% or lower. But of course, if you don't have the money for this, and in this pandemic, I understand, and if none of your friends or family have the cash to lend you, this is really not an option. So let's go to option number 2. You can call your current credit card lenders and request a credit limit increase. Why does this work? Well, simple. If instead of $10,000 credit limit, you now have a $20,000 limit, that same $5,000 balance is now only a 25% utilization instead of 50%. Nothing has changed in the balance, you just have more available credit to you. But before you do this, you must think about it for a moment. If you currently owe Bank A $8,000 of your $10,000 credit limit, there's pretty much no chance that they're going to trust you with more credit. So this option may not work for you today, but keep it in the back of your mind because you may be able to, after you improve your credit score, ask them for a credit limit increase, and it might still bump your score up a little bit in a couple months. So what is your other option? Number 3, piggybacking an authorized user account. The basic idea here is for you to be added as an authorized user on a currently established credit account. You can instantly adopt the entire credit history of that account. This usually takes 30 to 45 days to show up on your credit, but it can easily add 50 or more points to your score instantly. So how exactly does this work? Well, for example, you could be added to a 10-year-old Home Depot credit card with a $50,000 limit. On your credit report, it now shows 10 years of payment history and a $50,000 credit line. The beauty of this approach is it takes care of 3 of the segments shown here. It can easily improve your payment history, credit card usage, and helps also with your credit age. Speaking of credit age, this is the average time all of your accounts have been open. In my case, even with some of my credit cards that are 10 plus years old, I also have a few mortgages on various properties that are only a year or 2 old. So when these are all averaged together, it brings my average age to about 4.5 years. If you follow this suggestion that I mentioned a minute ago, you will be added as an authorized user, and many times this will bring up your average age. But keep in mind that this is an average. So just like back when you were in school, if you have 5 Fs on your report card, a single A is not going to fix your GPA. Now, aside from being added as an authorized user on someone else's account, really the only option you have to improve the average age of your score is to wait. The accounts that you have on your report must age naturally. There's no way you can force this to happen any sooner. Now, it is imperative, however, that you do not close any of your credit cards down. Any old accounts that you have, keep them open and current for as long as possible, as this is the way that you improve the average age of your accounts. Now, luckily, the average age does not have a massive impact on your credit score. Yes, it is essential if you want a perfect score, but if the goal is just good enough to get approved, do not fret over this at the moment. Now, of course, you still shouldn't close any accounts and hurt your score. Now, okay, let's go back to the payment history and derogatory marks. Remember earlier in the video when I told you to wait a few minutes that I'd cover it? Well, we're here now. If you guys missed a few payments or have some derogatory marks, which are usually collections or other bad things that creditors have to say about you, your first option is to contact the credit reporting agencies TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, and file what's called a dispute. This is a legal process where you demand the letter provides you with proof that the negative information on your report is valid. Now, of course, I'm not telling you to commit fraud and lie to them about legitimate marks on your statement. No, I'm just telling you that you have the legal right to demand evidence proving the information is correct. Now, of course, this is the part of the video where the lawyers chained up my basement start banging on the walls and demanding that I give you a quick legal disclaimer. I'm not a lawyer, I'm just some dude on the internet. This is not legal advice, blah, 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 blah. You know, you get the point. So go talk to a real lawyer and get advice from them. And lastly, don't sue me, okay? Got it. All right, so now that the chained up lawyers will be happy for a few minutes, how about we get back to the main point of this video? After submitting your disputes, the CRAs will contact the lenders and request proof. Now, honestly, gone are the good old days when the lenders had everything on paper, and in those days, it usually was not worth it for the lender to go back and digging through their archives to find your signed contracts. Now that everything's digitized, the lender's computers will talk to the CRA's computers and verify the data without ever having a human look at it. Don't be surprised if your disputes are denied. In this case, having a law firm handle your disputes sometimes works a little better. About a decade ago, I used a law firm called Lexington Law, and they helped get some fraudulent accounts off of my credit report that were opened up by some identity thieves. Now, they're not a sponsor of this video, and I can't guarantee their results, but you might want to look into them, or honestly, just check with the lawyer that helped set up your business. Now, if your eyes have rolled to the back of your head and you've already forgot pretty much all of what I said, let me give you a quick summary of what you need to know to get your credit score ready for a business loan. But first, if this information was helpful for you, please smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. I release business finance related videos twice a week, so make sure you click the notification bell so that YouTube notifies you when each video is released. All right, let's get to the summary. Basically, pay your bills on time or work out a payment plan with your lender so that your credit report shows everything is current. Get your credit utilization to less than 30%, ideally 10% or less, as the ultimate goal. And lastly, get any negative remarks from your credit report removed. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure you click like and subscribe. Doing so really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I appreciate it. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.